Kevin, or just make it supper? Go ahead. You guys, I was going to be nice and wait. Kevin said go ahead. So, okay. We're looking forward to the game this week. It's a different challenge for us. Quarterback's very elusive and has really been effective running the football, and it's got great breakaway speed. They do a nice job with all their play pass, misdirection passing, and he's been effective throwing that, and the running back is fit into the scheme well. Number 10, he's got to be a senior by now. I can remember we played him years ago. He's doing a good job for him and is making some plays. And then defensively, obviously very aggressive, very good against the pass. Would expect bracket coverage on Blackman. They have it in their system, and they're good at it. So I'm sure that, in my opinion, that they'll see that it's an opportunity for them to put two people on him and bracket him and bring pressure and fire some safeties and try to create issues and be disruptive in their pass defense. So we have to have a great week of preparation. Hopefully our players understand the importance of focus and staying on the straight line and doing whatever it takes to play well on Saturday.
Does anything change in your mind, Mike, when you look at Nebraska, given what happened to them with Texas, in terms of, did you see them maybe as one of the two best teams in the league or something like that? And does that change based on the fact that Texas beat them in Lincoln?
Well, obviously it proves the point that we talk about each week, that you got to be ready to play. And I haven't followed any of the comments from their coaching staff, but it's not like they've given up football in Austin either. They still have a really good football team, and I'm sure going into that game, Nebraska was aware of that. And as far as our preparation, there's probably areas our defensive coaches will see that may help them out, in their opinion. But Texas is really fast, and their second-level defenders, their backers, and their safeties that are in support, and their corners when they're in there are really fast, and it helped them considerably, in my opinion, with their ability to run. And so it'll be important that our defense plays fast. And then offensively, there's quite a bit of difference in what Texas' approach is and our approach is right now.
Mike, would you say Joseph Randall is kind of emerged as an X factor in offense?
Well, he's been really good for us. The comments that I made after the Tech game or that he's maturing faster. He's got good hands. He's blocked well, and he showed a toughness to him last Saturday in running the football and finishing his runs. And he also showed some endurance. He was able to do it multiple number of times. So he's been really good for us. We're glad he's a freshman.
When did you first kind of realize, hey, this guy can help us this year?
Early in camp in August, middle of August, he was impressive because he was tough. And I've said this before, but obviously I'm trying to give the best answer. He comes from a very disciplined and structured family, and it's helped him compete early in his career. His dad coached at not high school, but a lower level, but he's done it forever. And because he's mentally tough, and he came in here with a lot of discipline and structure, it allowed him to move faster than other players do. He was kind of pre-made when he showed up here. We just had to guide him in the right direction.
Mike, how does a guy like Justin Blackman go from being pretty much relatively unknown last year to being the #1 receiver in America just very, very quickly?
Well, Dez Bryant is one reason why. Because when Dez was coming back, all the directions were pointing toward him. And then when Dez got hurt, Justin wasn't ready to play yet. So Hubert and those other guys stepped up, made some plays for us last year. But the biggest factor with him, in my opinion, is after the Cotton Bowl last year, and he started showing signs in off-season and then through spring ball where he had tremendous work habits, understood the importance of preparation, practice well. He trained hard in the weight room, and he's very competitive. And those are kind of the key ingredients of a good football player. And once he realized how important that was, he was able to make that change again, earlier than some players would. Some guys, it takes 2 or 3 years to figure that out. He did it after his first year or so.
Do other players on your team see that? Like, hey, this is a guy who just outworked everybody, and look where he's at now.
Well, he's got ability. There's a different kind of players, and I use this example with the team. You have a Des Bryant talent level, and you have an Andre Sexton talent level, and Andre Sexton maximized his potential as a college football player. Des Bryant was still a bigger factor in the public's eye as a football player, but his talent level was so much higher. Well, Justin Blackman is a talented player that maximizes his opportunity because of his work habits. And you see all different types of players at our level. We have 127 guys on our team, and not all of them have it figured out of what it takes to be a really good football player. But he's starting to max that out, and he's staying hungry. One concern that I have as a football coach, and I'm sure other ones have, is that when a guy has a lot of success, he really starts thinking he's pretty good, starts listening to people tell him how good he is, and then he doesn't prepare as well for the upcoming game, and then that's when he doesn't play well, because it can happen really easy. There's not very many guys. I've only been around 2 guys ever in 20 years of college football that didn't have to practice really well and still could play well on Saturday. He's not in that category, and he understands that, and that's okay. But the other guys are seeing that, and hopefully it instills some want to in them.
But you guys showed some new things offensively with having Randall and Hunter in the backfield at the same time. How important is the running game this weekend, especially with the defense as good as they are?
Well, it's important in each game. You have to be somewhat balanced, and then take what they give you. And I like what Coach Holgerson and our staff's done this year. I think they have enough in the offense to run the ball or throw the ball based on the way that people try to defend us. Just because our offensive scheme is a little different, the defense can somewhat dictate what we do. It's no different than what we've done here in the past, and I think that's fairly common across the country. The difference is whether you have enough flexibility in your system to take advantage of it one way or the other, and that comes down to your game plan each week. There's a number of football teams out there that are very equal, and the plans that the coaches have for that game and the ability to get them to absorb that information is different now than it has been even 5 years ago, because there's so much parity out there in college football.
Talk about the threat, though, of having both of them in the backfield at the same time.
Well, they give us a lot because you have misdirection now. I mean, you got one going this way and one going that way, and either one of them could carry the ball or either one of them could catch a pass. So you have some flexibility there and some balance to your attack.
With as much one-on-one defense as Nebraska likes to do, could this come down to, at least a certain extent, a one-on-one battle between Justin and the Huskers' top corner, Prince Akamura?
Well, they're going to put him on him. That's my guess, but they'll use bracket coverage, in my opinion. I mean, I'm just throwing out there what I see and what I think that they'll do, and then there'll be times they'll come after him and try to match him up. I would think they're going to feel like that they're good enough, and he's good enough to do that. So there'll be some matchups in this game.
Mike, you were asked about this a lot in August before the season started, but we were talking as a crew in our booth in Lubbock. John had run into you that morning, and he said, "Guys, Coach Gundy's so relaxed." I've got to think a lot of that is your comfort with your staff and with this team at this stage of the game, that you seem to be very comfortable with everybody and your program.
Well, I'm personally very comfortable with where we're at in our program. And I've said this before, I like our academic support, I like our strength and conditioning, I like our everyday lifestyle for a student athlete here. I like what Bill Young's doing, I like what Dana Holgerson's doing, I like what Joe DeForest is doing. I like what the athletic director says about getting our indoor started. I like the support from the people that are coming to the games. And it continues to grow here. And again, it's still, we're not there. And it's going to take some time. But my work day as an individual got cut down by 4 hours every day by having Coach Holgerson here and him calling plays. So obviously over we've been doing this August, September, October, over a 10-week period or 12-week period, 4 or 5 hours a day by 30. I don't know how many hours that is. Somebody who's got good math can add it. Over 200 hours is off my plate right now. So I'm sure I'm a little better rested and probably much more relaxed. There's a lot of things going on that I allot time to. and one of them not right now is not 3rd and 3. So that's somebody else's issue. I've made a couple calls in the last couple games, and neither one of them worked. So I'm completely out of that. So.
Can you talk a little bit about the indoor practice facility and what that's going to mean for
You guys know as much as I do, other than I have a suspicion that Coach Holder has a pretty good start and some direction on what he wants to do. And we've had numerous meetings on specs and what we wanted and what we need and what's best for all the sports. And I continue to bring up the importance that this was a facility that would be used much more by the other sports in comparison to football. The other sports here need it just as much, if not more, than football. Football gets talked about a lot because we need it during certain times of the year. If we have lightning, we need somewhere to go. If we had frigid conditions and it's not conducive to practice, whether it's an outdoor sport or not, we need somewhere to practice. And in the summer, we need somewhere to go to get out of the heat. When the players want to volunteer their time to throw the ball around. So football will use it, but the other sports will use it considerably more than we will. But I am fairly confident that he's has a plan and has more direction now than we did 6 months